Hi there, welcome to Katrina's Creative Heart. Today I am going to show you how I made these cute little test tube holders that I created for my great nieces and nephews for our 4th of July family gathering. I found these little test tube shaped bubble containers on Amazon, and I got several of them. So I made one for each of the my nephews and my niece, and I have their names personalized on theirs, but there's also going to be other kids there. I don't know who all of those kids are, but I wanted them not to feel left out, so I'm going to make some generic ones. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. But these are really cute. I'm using the Parcels and Petals stamp set. This is a fun set in our 2019-2020 annual catalog. I'm using Blueberry Bushel and Real Red and Whisper White cardstocks. I have all my pieces here and I will tell you the measurements. We're also using our Blueberry Bushel ink. I have my test tube full of bubbles. Oops. Which I just dropped on the floor. Okay, so we have our test tube of bubbles. I have my bone folder. I have my take your pick tool. Have my stamp. We're using the large trio of petals here, and we'll get started. So I'm going to set this aside, and you hear the crinkling. That's my bag of bubbles. We have here a piece of Blueberry Bushel cardstock. This measures 11 inches by 4 inches across, and I'm going to bring in my Simply Scored tool. Set all this other stuff aside here, put all that away, and we're going to score down the 1 1/4 and 2 3/4 inch marks here. So on the 4-inch side up to the top here, we're going to score at 1 1/4. So that would be right there. 1 1/4 all the way down. And then we're going to go to the 2 3/4 inch mark, which is right there, all the way down. Okay, now we're going to turn, and we're going to have the 11-inch side to the top here. Get this back into focus here, just like so. Okay, and now we're going to score at 3 inches, but the 3-inch mark, we're only going to go to these 2 score marks that we've already made. So we're not going all the way through the center. So we're going to start at 3 inches, and we're going to go to the first score mark, skip down, and go the rest of the way. Now we can go all the way. So now we're at 5 1/2, which will be right there all the way through. 6 3/4, which is right there. Then we're at 9 1/4, and then 10 1/2, all the way through. All right, so now we can put our Simply Scored away. We don't need this anymore, so we'll set that aside. We do need to bring in our snips, and we're going to do some cutting. Well, actually, before we cut, let's go ahead and burnish all of our score lines. So we can go ahead and burnish these long ones. And then we're not going to burnish these ones, these short ones. Okay, so now that we have done that, we're going to do some cutting. So down here we have this narrow little tab. We're going to cut away these 2 little end tabs. Like so. those we don't need. And now we can go ahead and cut up these score lines. We're also going to cut away these two end flaps. So we want those to go away. And we're going to do a little more trimming too while we're here with our snips. Okay, so now we have the beginnings of our little box here. But before we go any further, I do want to do a little bit of snipping. I want to trim away on these little short tabs here. This is going to help eliminate some of the bulk of our box. Do both sides like so. And then these two end tabs that are next to this little tab here, we're gonna trim them down like so, and then we're going to also trim them and then this little tiny tab here, we're gonna do a little snip there. Okay, so now you have this funny looking little beginner parts of our box. Now I want to bring in my 3/4 inch hole punch. And that's this punch here. So it's the 3/4 inch. And I'm going to just, this tab here, you're going to get into the center of that square that's created by your score marks. And we're going to try to center that up as best we can and punch that out. Actually, you know what? I think I liked the 1 inch better. Let's switch that out, because I remember doing this the other day. I tried the 3/4 inch and it was a little too snug. So, but that's okay. We have enough room there. We're just gonna get our 1 inch punch and punch that out, just like that. So, do your 1 inch punch. All right. So we now have our little circle there. And we now need to do our adhesive to put our box together. So we're going to start by putting tear tape. I just had that in my hand. Here it is. And we're going to apply some tear tape to our tabs. I like to just go diagonal across the tab like so. Bring this one down. So go to the outside of the tab. And then I'd like to take my bone folder and burnish it down. And then use my take your pick tool and tear up the covers. Go. Just roll that over. So then you just bring the tabs up and the tall end here just goes like so. Okay. And then we're going to bring these sides right up just like so. So, you know what? I also like to, on these tabs closest to the hole we trimmed there, I like to just trim that as well, just a little bit at an angle, because again, it does help it go together just a little bit, especially if you're a little off on your trimming when you cut your score lines earlier. Okay, so now we put the adhesive to the inside of these tabs and the outside of these 3 tabs. So we're gonna add some tear tape there. Tear and tape there. And then again, like I said, to the outside of these little tabs here. So we need just a little piece there. Little piece, oop, there. And on this little tab. And just like before, I like to burnish the tape down with my bone folder, just because that tape, if you don't get it stuck down good, it sticks great. Once it's down good, it'll never come apart. However, if you don't get it stuck down good, then it's difficult to pull the paper away, and it brings the tape with it. So I like to just give it that good burnish, and then it's perfect. Okay, so now we're just going to bring these up like so and stick them down. Like I said, now they're going to stick really well. And now I can just pull away the tape here, the cover of the tape anyway. And now these just tuck into our box, just like so. And that tear tape helps keep the box sealed up nice. So now we have a nice, there we go, and our test tube bubbles fit in there perfectly, so they sit down in. Okay, so now we want to decorate it up so it's not a boring blueberry bushel little box. So we're going to bring in, I have my blueberry bushel stamp pad. I'm going to bring in a scrap piece of paper to do my stamping on. And I have some real red pieces here for layering. And the real red measures, this one measures 5 3/8 by 1 3/8 across. And we have a piece of Whisper White that measures 5 1/4 by 1 1/4 across. And then we have these little small pieces for the front. The real red measures 2 3/8 by 1 3/8, and then we have the little piece of Whisper White that's 2 1/4 by 1 1/4. Okay, so we're going to use our Whisper White pieces. We're going to set the real red aside. So our Whisper White, and I have, like I said, from the Parcels and Petals stamp set, we have the large trio of petals and our blueberry bushel ink. And we're not going to get too crazy here, folks. We're just going to do some simple stamping. And we're just going to add our flowers, petals, I guess you'd call them, all the way across here. Like I said, for the ones that I personalized for my nieces and nephews, I left a space to do their name in real red. But there's going to be other kids there that I don't know. There always is. So I wanted to make sure I had some extras to go around. But they won't have to worry about their name being on them. Okay, so now I just have my snail adhesive, and I'm going to go ahead and layer these pieces. Get rid of our scrap paper now. We don't need that. Okay, so now we're going to bring in our box. This goes on the back. And then we can add this to the front. And then we add our little test tube of bubbles. So there you have it. A cute little 4th of July celebration little bubbles. I hope you enjoyed this. I will link to the bubbles on Amazon so that you can find these, along with links to all of the product that I used in this video. I hope you have a great night, guys. Bye. If you enjoyed today's video, please consider leaving a thumbs up and subscribing to my channel. Thank you so much for your support. God bless and happy stamping.